To introduce you to a very brave woman. She is just like you, Karen Lamoreoux. She is an Arkansas parent. She has spoken out against Common Core in front of the Arkansas State Board of Education, and I think she was treated shabbily, to say the least. She spoke to them about the dumbing down of American kids, and she challenged the board with a math problem. I want you to see how she went and handled the Board of Education.
I have a math question for you, board members. Are you ready? Get your pencils out. I'm not kidding. Are you smarter than a Common Core fourth grader? Let's find out. The problem is, Mr. Yamato's class has 18 students. If the class counts around by a number and ends with 90, what number did they count by? I'll restate the problem. Mr. Yamato's class has 18 students. If the class counts around by a number and ends with 90, what number did they count by? Does anyone on the board have an answer? 5. And may I ask, madam, how did you come up with that answer?
Divided 18 into 90.
You know why? Because that's what makes sense, right? That's the way we were taught to do it in the fourth grade level. This, however, is what the Common Core standards expect our fourth graders to do. If they solve it in those 2 steps, they get it marked wrong. They are expected to draw 18 circles with 90 hash marks, solving this problem in exactly 108 steps. Board members, this is not rigorous. This is not college ready. This is not preparing our children to compete in a global economy.
Karen, why did you take that on?
My son, in order to do his 4th grade math homework in a state of absolute tears and frustration, felt that he had to empty a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese and use raw macaroni noodles to complete a 4th grade math assignment that could have been done using 2-step standard algorithm.
And he knew that?
He did not know that. He managed to make it through the entire 3rd grade without learning how to memorize his multiplication tables.
Huh. Good.
So I go to parent-teacher conference and ask the teacher, what is this nonsense? And the response that I got is, this is what we have to teach. This is the Common Core way. This is the Common Core standard.
I know that there are are teachers out there that are as upset as the parents are, but they feel as though they are they have a gun to their head. They lose their job. They and then they lose all control, and somebody else comes in and teaches this nonsense.
Yeah, and the proponents of Common Core, and even when I talk to a lot of my local legislators or people at the state education level, will brag about how they have teachers in their camp that love Common Core and they think it's great, and they say that they have teacher support. But since I've taken this on and spoken with coalitions all over the country, and there are so many, teachers are writing me from all over the country, not just my own state, saying, please help us. I can't post anything on your Facebook page. I can't speak out about this because I have been threatened with insubordination.
This is crazy.
We need parents to take this up and fight this for us because we don't have a voice.
Okay, so the things that bother me, the data tracking, the data mining that is going on. Is that something that concerns you?
It concerns me a great deal, and what concerns me even more is the amount of apathy out there among other parents.
Thank you.
In talking to other parents, the responses that many of the coalition mothers get is, well, they're going to track us anyway. If they want the information, they're going to get it. And what do I have to fear if I'm not doing anything wrong? Which only tells me that they're drinking the Kool-Aid that the proponents are giving them.
Make this case against it.
Well, and it's not about, for me, Glenn, it's not about whether or not I'm doing something wrong. It's about whether or not they're going to do something wrong with the information that they have. Somebody has to throw the ball back in their court.
Can I ask you this? I don't think that it is even doing something wrong. It's doing what they say they're going to do with it. And what they're going to do is fast track your kid into whatever it is they think. They're training our kids not how to think, but they're training our kids to be workers.
Yeah, and they use the word workforce quite a bit in Common Core language. And I think where that comes from is that legislators across the country have somehow convinced themselves that we have to have high-stakes testing, and therefore we have to have these results because we're spending all these millions of dollars on education, and we're accountable to voters to make sure that we're getting a return on that. I'm sorry, my child is not here for your profit. My child is not a return on investment. That's not why our children go to school.
I am so concerned that in many places they're not listening to the parents at all. Some places, Texas, they've changed it now twice. They've changed it, and some places they're not. I mean, you're from a place where they should be listening to you. Are they listening to you?
I think it depends on how you define they. And this is important for parents to understand. Most state school boards are appointed. They're not elected. That's the case for our board. They're elected merchants, they're appointed merchants in the community. They're appointed by the governor, okay?
Oh, wow.
They're not accountable to the people. So they don't care what we have to say. They're not going to listen to us. They are there to do the governor's bidding. Local school district boards, however, that are typically elected by the community will say that with regard to the Common Core standards, their hands are tied. They are required to do what the State Department of Education tells them. So, coalition members, we go to the state. State says this was voluntary, it's state-led, and we're not changing it. So parents have no voice. Nobody is accountable for this. If we don't like the math standards, like the one that I illustrated in that video, if we disagree with the use of CGI math at the 4th grade level, as parents and educators, we have absolutely no say in that. And apparently nobody can change it.
So what are you going to do?
So we have decided that dealing with our state board is really just a waste of time. And the only hope that we have in overthrowing this nonsense is restoring our state rights and our state sovereignty. And I think that when our legislators handed the power and the authority to take on these standards back in 2009, they believed what they were told. They believed that it was merely a set of standards and this was all sunshine and applesauce and this is going to be such a great program. I don't believe that they had malignant intentions. But now that it's starting to roll out and it's been a year or so and we're seeing Common Core for what it is, they're listening. There are 38 bills pushing back against Common Core in the United States of America. 22 states are fighting back. They started with 46, they're down to what, 41 that have adopted? The legislature is listening. They are just as frustrated by this, and I think they're putting the big picture together. I think our state House members and Senate members, they see what's going on with health care and with all this NSA garbage, and they see it in the school system too, and they've had enough, and they're fighting back.
You mentioned the NSA, and I just want to point this out, because I've seen what they've done, to me over the years, and especially with Common Core. Oh, immediately I'm a conspiracy theorist and everything else. All you have to do is look at the standards.
Yeah. Well, and here's where they get you, Glenn. I mean, I've been called a conspiracy theorist too.
Yeah.
I have had online debates with my local legislators who refuse to listen to me because I associate with you. So
we've just met.
I know, right? Because I say Glenn Beck said something, or even when I said I was going to be on your show, they dismissed me. Here's the thing. You're not going to find the controversial pieces in the standards. It's not there. The standards are flawed. The standards are cognitively inappropriate. The standards are not high quality, internationally benchmarked. The problems are in the park testing agreement. And so if they want to play semantics, that's fine. We can play semantics too. The standards are not the issue. It's the baggage that comes with the standards. People in their home states need to get their hands on that park agreement, because the park agreement is where you find the data mining language and where you find how much money is being spent and for what, and the fact that nobody is accountable. This is not state-led. It was state implemented, but it is not state-led.
But all of the governors will tell you, I was part of it. It was a con job from the get-go.
They were very quiet and sneaky about it. They were.
They were. Thank you so much.
Thank
Keep
you
up
for
the good
having me.
fight and let us know what the progress is.
Thank you.
All right.